What if I told you that your net worth has less to do with your IQ and more to do with your emotions? Sounds counterintuitive, right? But let me tell you a story. During my college years, I worked as a valet in Los Angeles. One guest, a tech whiz with Wi-Fi patents and millions to his name, would literally throw $1,000 gold coins into the Pacific for fun. Years later, he was broke. Now, you might be thinking, that's just one wild outlier. But here's the twist. A Vermont janitor named Ronald Reed quietly swept floors, invested small amounts in blue chip stocks, and died with over $8 million in the bank. No inheritance, no secret strategy, just patient, consistent saving. This brings us to two key technical terms. Behavioral finance, the study of how emotions and biases shape money choices and compounding, which, like a snowball rolling downhill, turns tiny habits into massive results over time. Let's set the stage. In finance, genius can be your enemy if you can't control your impulses. In fact, your lived experience, the economic, emotional, and cultural context you grew up in, can color every risk you take or avoid. So, as you listen, ask yourself, are you chasing money like a math problem, or learning the soft skills that quietly build true wealth? Have you ever looked at someone else's financial choices and thought, what are they thinking? Maybe you've shaken your head at lottery buyers or risk takers. Here's the thing, no one's truly crazy with money. We're just shaped by different backgrounds, incentives, and most of all, experiences. Take anchoring bias, a psychological concept that means we cling to what we've personally lived through. If you grew up watching your parents lose everything in a recession, your emotional risk tolerance is going to be worlds apart from someone who only knew boom times. Let me pose a hypothetical. Imagine you're living paycheck to paycheck. A lottery ticket isn't a math equation, it's hope, a dream you can hold in your hand. Now, you might ask, isn't that irrational? Maybe. But if you grew up feeling locked out of opportunity, it's downright logical. So the next time you see financial behavior that baffles you, pause and ask, what story is behind those choices? Remember, your spreadsheet can't capture someone's lived anxiety or hard-won optimism. And that's why one person's crazy is another person's normal. Now, let's talk about two siblings you may never meet, but who shape every financial journey: luck and risk. Picture Bill Gates, one of the world's richest people, not just as a genius, but as a kid, at one of the only high schools in the world with a computer in 1968. That's statistical outlier territory, a 1 in a million shot. But what about his friend, Kent Evans? Equally smart, equally obsessed with computers, but his life ended in a mountaineering accident before graduation. See the pattern? Risk is luck's mirror image. Both are about probabilities, the odds that something beyond your control changes your life. In statistics, we call this variance. The idea that the same skill can produce wildly different outcomes depending on external factors. Think about this. Next time you admire someone's wealth, ask yourself, how much was skill and how much was timing? And when you encounter failure, could it be risk, not just bad judgment? The actionable takeaway: focus on behaviors you can control and leave space for humility. Your outcome is never 100% yours alone. Let me share a story that illustrates a trap even the smartest among us fall into: the myth of enough. Rajat Gupta, born with almost nothing, rose to be a CEO and millionaire. Yet, surrounded by billionaires, he risked everything for just a little more and lost it all to scandal. Now, you might be thinking, that can never be me. But here's the technical term: hedonic adaptation. It's our tendency to rapidly adjust to new levels of wealth, always pushing the goalpost further ahead. Compare yourself to a rookie athlete earning $500,000. He feels broke next to a superstar making $30 million, who in turn envies the billionaire owner. Social comparison, measuring ourselves against others, is a losing game. So, how do you reclaim control? Define your own enough. Ask, What are you risking for what you don't actually need? True wealth is knowing where to stop, protecting what you have, and finding contentment in sufficiency, not endless accumulation. Have you ever wondered why Warren Buffett is so rich? Here's a secret. Over 99% of his wealth came after his 50th birthday. The magic? Compounding growth that builds on itself, like a snowball gaining speed. Here's a technical analogy. Imagine exponential growth versus linear growth. If you multiply by 2 every year, in just 10 years, you're at 1,024, not 20. But compounding isn't just for money. It works in relationships, skills, and reputation. Still, you might protest, but shouldn't I aim for the highest possible returns? Actually, no. History shows that steady, pretty good returns over decades beat risky, short-term bets that flame out. The key is longevity and consistency. So, if you're tempted to chase the next hot thing, remember, the best results come from sticking around, letting your habits and investments quietly accumulate. Ask yourself, are you setting yourself up to benefit from compounding or sabotaging it by seeking quick wins? Let's face it, making money and keeping money are two very different skills. History is filled with Jesse Livermore types, brilliant investors who made fortunes only to lose them all. The technical term here is margin of safety, a buffer that protects you when things go wrong. Think of it like this. In aviation, pilots always keep extra fuel in the tank. In money, your fuel is cash reserves, diversification, and humility. Now, you might ask, but isn't boldness rewarded? Short term sometimes, but in the long run, survival is everything. Compounding only works if you avoid catastrophic mistakes. So the next time you're tempted to leverage to the hilt or chase a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, remember, the ability to endure, to stay in the game through chaos, is the most underrated financial superpower. Are you planning for the unexpected or just hoping for the best? Let's talk about the long tail, a concept from statistics that's pure gold for personal growth. In business and investing, a tiny percentage of ideas, projects, or investments account for almost all the rewards. Picture Walt Disney, hundreds of cartoons, most flops, until Snow White changed everything. Or the stock market. 7% of companies drive all the index's returns. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't this mean failure is the norm? Exactly. Fat tail risk means rare. Unpredictable events carry outsized weight. Instead of aiming for perfection, position yourself to survive losses and capture those rare, transformative wins. Remember, it's not about being right all the time, but making sure that when you are right, the impact is massive. So, are you giving yourself enough shots at success and the resilience to endure the inevitable duds along the way? Let's wrap up this journey with a question. What's the real point of money? Is it fast cars, giant houses, or is it something deeper? Research in positive psychology, especially the work of Angus Campbell, shows the highest form of wealth isn't stuff, it's control over your life. Autonomy, the power to do what you want, with whom you want, when you want, is the true dividend money pays. Now, you might protest, but freedom costs money. True, but it's often less about the amount and more about your expectations and choices. Are you working for more money or for more time and options? Next time you set a financial goal, ask, will reaching this actually give me more control and joy, or just another moving target? The richest feeling is waking up and saying, today I choose. That's what real wealth looks like.